right, let's hit the field.
It's March 1st. There's baseball that counts this month. But first, we got to get through spring training. We got the spring debut of Aaron Judge. We'll talk about the fallout from the Luis Gil injury. All that and more coming up next. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
Play that Sinatra, baby. Play that Sinatra. For the first time this year, For the first time this year, we have a Yankees victory on a postgame show. Let's hear it.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win.
All right. So we are less than 4 weeks away from doing this pretty much every day for 6+ months. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. We obviously had some tough news yesterday with Luis Gil going down with a injury. He had an MRI today. We're going to find out probably on Monday what the status is for him. And we are going to do a post-game show on Monday. So hopefully we'll be able to talk through it a little bit. It's been one of those springs with injuries. Giancarlo Stanton, we just found out that he had PRP injections in both elbows. Talk more about that later. Chase Hampton obviously out for the year. Gil, F. Ross, Brubaker, all dealing with injuries at this point. But the season must go on, and the show must go on. Good news is that Garrett Cole looked very sharp last night. Bellinger has looked good. We got Judge healthy. He said he's going to try and get more at-bats this spring. And as of right now, I'm feeling pretty good about this Yankees ball club headed into the 2025 season despite the injuries. But let's talk about today's game. So Judge back in the lineup. He struck out in his first at-bat. It was a pitch that looked high. I was surprised he didn't challenge it. It was a cutter kind of up and away. Knocked in a couple of runs in his second at-bat. During the regular season, he absolutely would have gotten walked in that scenario. That's why it's so important for him to have a good hitter behind him. And right now, I'm thinking that Cody Bellinger could be that guy. Again, I'll talk more about him in a little bit. But it was good to see Judge back out there in right field, where I think he's more impactful on defense. As long as the Yankees can prevent anyone from hitting the ball to left field, I think the defense should be a lot better this year.
Oh!
George Lombard Jr., top prospect, number 2 prospect according to Baseball America, is a shortstop prospect, but today he was playing third base, which I find very interesting, and he smoked a monster home run off the left field scoreboard. Absolute nuke. You do not see a lot of 19-year-olds with that kind of power. He is going to be in the major leagues. It's just a question of when. And the more I see him, the more I think he could be one of those guys who moves quickly through the minor leagues. Now, you look at Anthony Volpe. He was another guy who was taken out of high school, and he really moved up the minor league ladder quickly. Once he conquered AA, he was only in AAA for about 3 weeks. And there's a chance that we could see Lombard get to AA this year, which means realistically next year, 2026, we could see him as a 20-year-old turning 21 in the major leagues. And I love the idea of sticking him at third base right now. You don't want to spend big on a third baseman. They're probably got, a little bit of money allocated this winter for either Vladimir Guerrero at first base or Kyle Tucker in the outfield. So you're going to spend big on one of those two areas. It would be nice to have a rookie phenom come up and play third base. And honestly, this kid looks the part. I mean, if you're talking about central casting for an athlete, he's got the body type, he's got the lineage, as they said. His father's the bench coach for the Detroit Tigers, and he looks comfortable. He had a home run opposite field last year in spring training when he was 18 years old, and we're all saying, wow, you don't see a lot of 18-year-olds that have opposite field power. And 414 feet today off the scoreboard. What a shot. What a shot. Peter Risberg with Lombard and the rocket emojis. Love it. I love it. Ben Rice also went deep today. A laser beam over the short porch in right field. And look, he has put on some muscle, and he looks ready to rock this year. He was behind the plate, still competing for that backup catcher job. But with Stanton out, I think he is the favorite to be the starting DH to begin the season. They pointed out a few times how much weight he's gained this year, but he's looking strong in a good way. 113 mile an hour exit velocity on that home run, harder than any ball that he hit last year. I guess they felt like a lot of his fly balls were kind of dying on the warning track. I kind of remember that being a problem. And they felt like, if you put on maybe 10 or 15 pounds of muscle, some of those balls go in the bleachers. And that's, what we're seeing. Just looks really good right now. He also challenged the pitch behind the plate and got the call. So, I'm not sure how I feel about the ABS right now. I mean, I'm all in favor of getting the call right, but I kind of just prefer an automated ball strike system. If you're going to use it, why not use it on every pitch and just get the calls right on every pitch? So, anyway, we got some comments about Giancarlo Stanton possibly being out for the year. We don't know yet. He's going to start the season on the IL, so we'll see how that works out. We saw DJ LeMahieu today. He did not look good. I'm going to have an open mind about DJ LeMahieu because he's got some credit in the bank for some of the earlier years that he had with the Yankees, but I remain pessimistic that he can really bounce back from those foot injuries. It looked last year like he was a shell of the player that he used to be, and a lot of times your power as a hitter, and I'm not talking home run power, I'm just talking driving the baseball kind of power, comes from the feet, comes from the legs up, the ground up, and until he shows that his feet are healthy and he's over those injury problems, I'm going to remain a little doubtful that he can, bounce back. Plus, age is not on his side. He's, we're all getting older, but he's in his mid to late 30s now. So, look, as much as I like DJ, I think maybe his time as a starter has passed, and it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But, the way Lombard's swinging the bat, I kind of want them to work on him in the minor leagues at third base. Jesus Rodriguez, another catching prospect that I'm excited about. He ripped an RBI single in the 7th inning. He's got a very interesting hitting style. They talked about it. I'm sure we'll see it more, and I'll try and break it down at some point. But, those guys who kind of hit in an unconventional way and still have success, those guys are interesting to me, like Ichiro. Nobody ever would have taught anyone to hit like Ichiro, and then it worked out. He's one of the best hitters ever. Mickey Tettleton, right? Remember the power he had, and he had that weird batting stance? People from the 90s don't remember. But grand slam from Cole Gabrielson to blow open the game in the 7th inning. And you know what? On any other day, he'd probably have the belt, but I don't have a picture of him, so we're going to give it to somebody else. But we will give out a belt today, so stay tuned. A few other notes. I really like what we saw from TJ Rumfield in terms of his swing. He's got a big league swing, a really good cut, and I like that, it's kind of level. It's not like one of those try and launch the ball into the seats swings. It looks like a, good level left-handed swing, a Tino type of swing, a Robin Ventura type of swing. Obviously, he has not made the major leagues yet, but if at some point he has to fill in, it'd be interesting to see what he could do against major league pitchers. So let's tune in for the pitcher spotlight. Cam Schlittler, starting pitcher today. The last time we did one of these post-game shows, it was Sean Boyle, who got reassigned to minor league camp this morning. We're going to have Max Fried on Monday night. So when we do the post-game show, we'll have, at least a member of the rotation. Schlittler, who I'm sure has never had any issues with his last name being mispronounced at all or made fun of in middle school. I'm sure it's never happened. But he has good stuff. I mean, he was MLB Pipeline's Yankees pitcher of the year last year, 11 strikeouts per 9 in the minor leagues. Standout from Northeastern University. He's built like an absolute monster. Throws 95, 96. We saw a good cutter today. We saw a couple of breaking pitches. We saw an over-top curveball in the 3rd inning, but he was mostly working on the fastball. You could see he first popped on my radar last year because of the strikeout numbers at Hudson Valley, and then he was on a video that I saw from Yankees Farm. Excellent. Check it out if you get a chance. But I've heard that he's very coachable. He's very smart, and both of those are super important for a pitcher. I like those kind of studious pitchers like Garrett Cole or Max Fried, who they were just talking about. They have a very similar kind of way of thinking about pitching, and he's one of these guys. He's a guy who I think could move quickly through the minor leagues. The fact that they're giving him starts in spring training means they at least, like something about him. It's hard not to like a guy with a frame like that and an arm like that, 95, 96. And giving the pitching injuries that we've already had this spring, never count anyone out as making an appearance throughout the season. For a big guy, his mechanics are smooth. The cutter looked like a major league pitch. He's also working on a splitter. I didn't see it, but I might have looked away if he threw it. The first 2 innings were terrific, but you could tell that he kind of ran out of gas in the third inning. That's what happens in spring training. That's why pitchers only go 3 innings in spring. It's like when a basketball player is coming up short on his jump shot. You know they're getting tired. When a pitcher misses high in the zone, you can tell that they're getting fatigued. And in the third inning, he was just missing high. So his back and his legs are not trained to go more than 3 innings at this point, which you wouldn't expect them to be. And so he tired out a little bit. But I like his repertoire. I think he's got a chance to make the big leagues. He's already 24 years old, so it would not shock me if they rush him through or if he begins the season at AAA. Next post-game show, I said, will be Monday night. Max Fried on the mound. Tune in for that one for sure. Unfortunate thing about Max Fried is that I absolutely suck with him on MLB The Show. Every time I pitch with him, I get creamed. I played a game this morning. I got rocked. So let's hope he's a little better in the 2025 version. All right, so let's catch up on some of the stuff from this week. Obviously, losing Luis Gil was the big story of the week. We'll find out more about that in a few days, I'm sure. But it's going to put pressure on Marcus Stroman. I think it steps up the competition for who's going to be the number 6 starter. Will Warren the other day threw the ball well. There's been a big comparison online about his mechanics compared to Mike King's mechanics. And if you go back to when he first came up last year, that's one of the first things I talked about, was that his mechanics look very similar. Now, just like Spencer Jones's mechanics look very similar to Aaron Judge, it doesn't make him Aaron Judge, right? Just because you shot Jesse James doesn't mean you're Jesse James. You still got to be able to pitch. You still got to be able to hit. We'll see how it works out, but I like the way he threw the ball the other day. I mentioned on the Luis Gil video that JT Brubaker was an option too, but then I saw after I went live, it had broken shortly before I went live, and I just hadn't seen it yet, that he actually has some broken ribs. So he is done for a while. So injuries have been a problem in spring training. Still no Giancarlo Stanton. Yankees released a statement during the 8th inning today that he is still tending to a personal matter in New York City. They said he had PRP injections in both elbows. That's platelet-rich plasma, in case you're wondering, for the newbies. That just means basically they're putting in some clean plasma with the stuff in there that helps it heal faster. I'm not a doctor. I didn't even stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so take everything I say with a grain of salt medically. But from what I understand, that's what it is. And it was something that Bartolo Colon had done. I remember when he first came to the Yankees, he had shoulder issues and he had a PRP injection, and it kind of rejuvenated his career a little bit. So, hopefully he's able to make a speedy recovery, but he is going to open the season on the IL, which opens up a spot for the DH position. And I think right now my favorite to win that job is Ben Rice. Just the way he's swinging the bat, the way he looks at the plate. Hey, he has some experience. He's on the 40-man roster, but we'll see. We got a voicemail about a reshuffle, and I'll play that when we get to the back end of the show. On the plus side this week, Garrett Cole looked very good last night. The changeup, the slider, both sharp. Fastball was crisp. Cody Bellinger has looked phenomenal in spring training. He smoked a home run last night. I've seen him play 3 or 4 times this spring, and he's looked great every time. He's done something nice every time. He's either hit the ball hard or he's made a nice play in the field. He's hustling and running the bases, and last night he breaks out the laser beam home run. Excited to see what he's going to do this year. Austin Wells hit an absolutely titanic blast last night. Low and in, that's the danger zone for lefties. When they drop that bat head on it, they can be dangerous. Last year we saw him do it a few times, but we also saw him swing through a lot of pitches last year. As he becomes more comfortable as a major league hitter, I think he's really going to hit. I think he's going to be a deadly hitter. One day he could be a DH because I think his bat will outweigh what he can do defensively. And the Yankees do have a lot of good catching prospects in the system, including Jesus Rodriguez and so forth. A lot of talk this week continues to be about Jason Dominguez and the struggles he's gone through in the outfield. He did have one play today where he had to throw. It was up the line. Didn't look like a particularly strong throw. The thing that concerns me is his routes. He doesn't read the ball well off the bat, and then he has to kind of try and make up for it with his speed. And luckily, he does have some speed, but that's not always conducive to tracking the baseball, right? Things like spin, sun, wind, all of that can play havoc when you're really sprinting to get the baseball and the ball's kind of bouncing a little bit. It's just stuff that outfielders have to deal with, and he just might not have played enough organized baseball as an outfielder to be good at it. Hopefully it comes in time, but the instincts are kind of the thing right now. Anyone who's played the outfield at a high level can tell you the initial jump that you get is extremely important. It's something that's hard to teach. It's reaction time. It's vision. I did notice that he's growing a little bit of a beard, taking advantage of the new policy, but unfortunately, I don't think that's going to help his defense too much. All right, let's get to the fun part of the wins here. My favorite part of the show, because if we're giving out the Belt Award, that means the Yankees have picked up a W. A reminder that you can vote on the Belt winner, talk about the Belt winner, or the bum. You can call in during the show, and we'll play some voicemails. We're going to do that all year long. We're going to have voicemails not only during the postgame, but the following morning. 718-899-1068. The voicemail number is always on the screen. We got some first-time callers today. During the regular season, the belt would have almost certainly gone to Gabrielson, who hit the grand slam to blow the game open, but it's spring training, and I literally have zero pictures of the guy, so we're going to go with someone else. And that someone is George Lombard Jr. 414-foot home run off the scoreboard. Will not turn 20 years old until June, as we get a look from camera B. A little more overhead shot. He's going to be a player. You know, sometimes you can just tell when a guy is made to be an athlete, and the way he moves, his physical frame, he's a prospect that I am growing more and more excited about every time I see him, and he takes the first belt of the year. Frankie Baseball says, Summer of George! Summer of George! Love it. This is going to be a year where he really takes off, I think. I mean, we could see him in AAA by the end of the year if he has a strong start to the season and gets comfortable and begins to, make a name for himself. He's already gotten a ton of calls from the Yankees about trades. They're saying no. I talked to the guy from Baseball America, Jeff, and he was talking about how they kept getting told to move him up on their prospect rankings because everybody thinks he's going to be legit. And, sometimes the eye test just doesn't lie. George Lombard is a guy who passes the eye test, and I'm anxious to see what he does in his future. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Astros playing here in Florida. It seems like they've been in Houston for as long as I can remember. But in Florida this year, I feel like that rivalry has kind of taken a step back a little bit because the Astros have taken a step back. They've begun to reset a little bit. They lost Bregman. He signed with the Red Sox, so he stays in our division. He's going to be trouble there in Boston with that left field wall. They traded Kyle Tucker. Obviously, the Yankees had an opportunity to trade for Kyle Tucker. They wouldn't give up Luis Gil. Now Luis Gil's injured. I saw someone saying, fire Cashman over that, but it's just unpredictable. Although, Luis Gil did see a big increase in innings from, last year to this year, so maybe it was predictable. Who knows? And maybe it's me, but I just feel kind of ripped off. I feel like since 2015, the Astros had the Yankees number with that core, and now that core is pretty much gone except for Altuve and, Alvarez now. But I feel like the Yankees just never got the revenge that I wanted them to get. With them taking a step back, even moving Altuve to left field, it just feels like a different team. I don't hate them as much as I used to. I just don't have the visceral hate for those guys. Now, the individual guys, I still see George Springer, and I'm like, screw that guy. And I still don't like Altuve. Yeah, I saw Altuve running out to left field yesterday. He's going to be playing the outfield this year. And it looked like in the home run derby where they allow the little kids from Little League to play the outfield. That's what he looked like out there. But, hey, good luck to him. I just feel like I wanted the Yankees to win one of those big series against that core while they still had Verlander, while they still had all these guys, and it just didn't happen. So, Hey, it is what it is. I feel a little bit robbed, but that's baseball. All right, for all the dudes like me who are losing their hair up top, and I'm not talking about when I shaved it for the Ben Rice 3-run home run. I'm talking about getting old. My hair's falling out. It is what it is. I'm not ashamed of it. I wear a hat almost all the time because I like hats, not because I'm ashamed of my hair. But I really want you guys to, if you have this issue, check out this ad from the Foul Territory folks. It's about Nutrafol, which is a hair growth supplement. Then I'll be back with 4 voicemails and your comments to round out the episode. Back in about 60 seconds.
Hair thinning is very common, very frustrating problem that many men deal with. From stress and nutrition to hormones to lifestyle, so many internal factors affect what you see on the outside. Luckily, Nutrafol is here to help.
Thinning hair is different for men and women, so a one-size-fits-all approach to their hair growth doesn't cut it. Nutrafol has multiple formulas for men and women that are tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol for a limited time. Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code FOUL. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code FOUL.
All right, let's hear it for Nutrafol. We got a comment here from Frankie Baseball. He wants to know what Derek picks for the Oscars tomorrow. Well, here's the thing. I really have not seen all the Oscar movies this year. I haven't seen anywhere near as many movies during this year as I typically see. I did watch the Timothée Chalamet movie about Bob Dylan, A Complete Unknown, last night. I thought the music was tremendous. I thought Timothée Chalamet was tremendous. I hope he wins for that. The movie itself, I didn't love, but he's pretty much the major pick that I have for this year. All right, let's play our first voicemail here.
Yeah, Derek, some things that I was thinking about earlier was if Peraza wins third, obviously that's locked up. And then what I think should be done is Dominguez moves to DH while Giancarlo's out. He might be out all year. We really don't know. But then that would leave Oswaldo Cabrera play a little bit of outfield too, because you're probably moving Grisham to center and Bellinger to left. I mean, you probably don't want to play Grisham every day, especially versus lefties. So maybe Cabrera plays a little bit of left field.
It's possible. Look, I said the other day that they might want to move Dominguez to DH while Stanton is out. Depends on how long Stanton's going to be out. Someone said that it's incredibly short-sighted. I don't disagree. It is kind of short-sighted, but you got to do what you got to do to win. And if a guy is killing you in left field, right, he's got a month to work it out. But if he's still killing you at the end of March, you can't run him out there. I don't care how good he hits. We got some news here per Aaron Boone. Thanks to Action VJ in the chat for bringing this to our attention. DJ LeMahieu tweaked a calf today. So, again, more lower half injuries for DJ LeMahieu.
I can't believe you've done this.
It is what it is. We're gonna have a lot of DJ LeMahieu injuries over the rest of this contract. I just think his body's starting to betray him.
Hey, Derek, it's Connor from New Jersey. It's been a while since I've called. Love your show. Always love your show. Still wondering when you're going to bring back No Punt Intended with your boys, because you guys went silent from the football stuff, but that's okay. Anyway, my comment for the day is, well, I guess with the Luis Heel news, Marcus Stroman is probably ecstatic, or not ecstatic, but I guess he's going to be the fifth guy in the rotation like you were saying in your video. That really sucks because I didn't like what I saw from him last year. He was great in the first half, like you've mentioned several times, but the second half was brutal. And it seems like that's his pattern the last few years. So I'm just hoping this is a short-term injury for Luis Heel and it's not something like Frankie Montas, where he was out the whole year with the shoulder and then came back the last few weeks or whatever and sucked. So prayers up for Luis Gil. Love your show. Continue doing what you do, buddy. See you later.
I appreciate the call. First of all, on no pun intended, so that we did a football show this winter. For years, people have been saying, Derek, you have got to do a football show. So I brought in my two favorite football fan friends, Justin and Frankie, and we did a football show, and nobody watched. And so we shut it down because nobody was watching, and it wasn't worth the time I was putting in on it. So it is what it is. I just don't know football as well. I was talking to Justin the other day because I did another video for another channel about my Apple Vision Pro, kind of like a tech review, and I was like, Justin, I think I just don't have any talent other than the baseball podcast. Hey, nothing to be ashamed of. At least this is doing well. As far as the rotation, I mean, we're going to see guys probably come in and out all year. Stroman needs to step up. And if he can be good for the first half while someone develops in the minor leagues and then someone steps in when he fades, or Luis Gil comes back when he fades, hey, I'll take Luis Gil if he has just like a strain in his shoulder and it's nothing like that's, going to keep him out for the whole season, nothing structural. If he comes back in May or June, that's honestly not a terrible thing because he pitched a lot last year. Like, he threw way more innings than they were expecting him to. So it would be kind of like a step back. In fact, we don't know how severe this is. The fact that he's getting an MRI leads you to think that, it could be something that they're at least worried about. But the fact that he's already having shoulder issues, it leads me to believe it could be partially due to how hard they pushed him last year, pitching all the way up through the World Series. He was only, you remember there was all this talk, we're going to shut him down in June. They never shut him down. And now it's time to pay the piper.
Derek, Robert, what the hell is with these guys? What is with today's ball players? They can't friggin' get through goddamn spring training anymore without getting hurt? I mean, it's a friggin' hospital ward we got going already.
It's always been like that, Robert. It's always been like that. As long as I can remember, there's been injuries in spring training. Only reason we got Derek Jeter in 96 is because Fernandez got hurt. Kenny Rogers got hurt in his first spring training outing that year. Guys are always having issues, right? Roger Clemens, when they first got him, had a groin issue that he pitched through all year. The thing is now, though, there's a lot more weight training, a lot more weight lifting, and that, I think, can lead to more muscle pulls. But, thanks as always for calling. Robert, let's try and keep it clean.
Hey, Derek. A long-time listener, first-time caller. Really like your show. I've been watching for a long time.
Appreciate it.
Lifelong Yankee fan.
Me too.
Since the early 60s. So that gives away my butt. There you go. Hey, I like what you said about the facial hair rule and that people need to be good in their skin and not feel awkward about their appearance or the way they feel and not be forced to do something they don't want to do and in order to play really well. So in that vein, I'm wondering why the heck we've got the Martian, Dominguez, trying to play left field. He came up as a center fielder. He's probably played his whole life as a center fielder. Leave him there. He's going to be an offensive juggernaut. Let him be that as a rookie and play center field where he feels comfortable. Move Bellinger over to left. It's a tough field. He's a good athlete. He should be able to handle it. Why are we doing this? It's crazy. Anyhow, like your opinion. I love your show. Keep up the good work. Thanks. Bye.
I agree with you 100%. I would have had Dominguez in center field. I think center field is the easiest position to play. I know it's a lot more running, but the ball is always slicing away from you, right? You just don't get the same effect that you get on, shots, down the line, dealing with, foul territory and the corners and all that stuff. I just think center field is an easier position to play, quite frankly. We got another call about Dominguez that just came in a minute ago. I haven't listened to it yet. Let's hope it's not full of F-bombs.
Hey, Derek. It's John. Great job with your updates. Quick point. Tell me what you think. The struggles with Jason Dominguez in left field. Do you think we should try to put him in center field? He's more a natural center fielder, and let Bellinger and Judge play left and right, take a little pressure off him, and just let him settle into center field. That maybe.
Yeah, appreciate the call. So yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of Yankees fans are on the same page here that he's probably better suited for center field. Just doesn't look comfortable, and not. I mean, when you're talking about reads off the bat, which seems to be what he's struggling the most with. Honestly, you can definitely see the reads off the bat better in center field. If you've ever played center field versus one of the corner outfield spots, you know this. You can see the ball better based on where the pitch is, based on the angle of the bat in center field. So, I don't disagree, but it does not seem to be the way that Aaron Boone wants to go because, and this is kind of all built around Trent Grisham. When Trent Grisham comes in, he doesn't want to have to move Dominguez to left. It's like, well, then just play Grisham in left, when you need to give him, some action or whatever. It is what it is. I'm finished trying to figure out what Aaron Boone is doing. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Another post-game show in the books. We'll be back on Monday night. Again, check out Nutrafol. The link is in the profile if you're losing your hair like me, and we'll see you next time. Hey, while I've got you here, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Pinstripe Territory is the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We are home to the #1 most watched MLB postgame show on YouTube since 2021. We're here after every Yankees game and for reactions to all the best news and rumors during the offseason. Be a part of the show by calling into the voicemail 718-899-1068. Try to keep it clean for me. And if you ever miss us on YouTube, be sure and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. Go ahead and rate us 5 stars. It'll help other people find the show. Thanks for watching. See ya.